You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
Yo, what it do? My bad for the echo. I accidentally had the another volume thing on, so it was echoing. I didn't even notice it. My bad, y'all. I apologize. What it do? Brethren and sister and boys and girls, lions and lionesses, amigos, mi amigas, ladies and lads, kings and queens, and everything in between. Y'all know what time it is. A doctor's in the house. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let us get it. Hold on, let me make sure my volume sounds good. Okay, my audio sounds good. Okay, we good. Don't forget to smack that like button if you haven't done so already. Shame on you. Let's go, man. Let's go. Man and woman. Let's get it. We got Oscar Perez in the building. What's good, brethren? We got Jab Queen in the building. One time for the ladies. Yeah, man. So we got a couple things to talk about. A couple interesting topics that I want to discuss. I'm gonna take a little it's gonna be like a little different outlook on it, but it's something that I find kind of a lot of bit interesting. So let's get right to it. But before we do, of course, you got to say our prayers, man. So start off, it's wonderful work week that we are blessed to see. So please join me. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for your blessings. We thank you for your guidance. We give you all the glory and the praise that you undoubtedly deserve, Lord. We thank you for your protection, your correction, and your direction. And we hope that you, we pray that you continuously lead us along the path of clarity, peace, righteousness, love, and kindness. And Lord, we ask you that you allow us to utilize our blessings to for the betterment of our own lives individually and those in our family, in our immediate circle, but also those on a broader scope too. We ask that we are a beacon of light to anybody in a dark place, and we ask that we are an example of all things good. And we ask when we do veer off the path and we do commit sins, intentionally or unintentionally, or one that we know or ones that's unbeknownst to us, we ask you for your forgiveness, and we thank you for your love and your mercies, and we give you all the glory through Jesus' name. Amen. 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 So let's get right to it, man. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. So first off, man, I want to start off with Canelo. With the Canelo and Bud presser. We got Lee Jackson in the building. What's good, man? What's good? Yep. Hey, one time for OKC as well, man. One time for OKC. I'll drink to that, Oscar. One time for OKC. He said, let's be real in the building. Say amen. Lee Jackson say amen. Sigma says amen. What's good, brethren? I got Sigma, man. But let's get right to it, man. So the Bud and Canelo presser, man, I actually loved it. I felt like this is the first time that it feels like an actual fight. And like, I'm not one that needs the rah-rah and the and all the extra stuff, right? You know, I don't really need the trash talk. I don't really need the venomous interactions. I don't really need the animosity, but it definitely helps. I mean, it's a fight, right? We're going into a fight. We're not going into a wedding ceremony. We're not going into a peace treaty. In fact, we're going to the contrary. We're going to a war, right? That's what we're preparing for. So I think these guys are already great. You know, I don't need, the reason why I say I don't need is because Cinnamon's already proved what he has. I mean, he has 67 fights, right? 63, 63, 2-2, right? 63 wins, 2 losses and 2 draws, and then Terrence Bud Crawford's 41 wins in, undefeated, right? So I mean, these guys are gonna bring it, man. It's already proven, you know, with Bud being undisputed and undefeated while doing it, you know, in 2 different weight classes. So these guys are already proven. So I don't necessarily need the trash talk, but gosh dang it felt good, you know, especially with seeing all the pictures of them having din together, and you know, the interview with Piers Morgan and them laughing together, which I always think that's a cool dynamic as well. Pugilism was good. I always think that's a cool dynamic. However, I just like the little trash talk of the back and forth. You know, and to me, I thought it was in a playful manner too, but it also shows you that, okay, man, these guys are going to bring it. Like with Canelo talking about he wants a small ring, you know, I didn't like that, but to me, it's just he saying that he wants to put hands on him, and then Bud saying, oh, don't worry about it, I'm not running anywhere, I'm just gonna run upside your head. I thought that was too funny, you know, and saying he has a big head too. So I just like the back and forth, and I like the fact that when it got a little contentious at the end too, with Bud walking up on Canelo and Canelo having to push him back, like, hold on, bro, you try Terrence Bud Crawford try to big bro him, you know, and then he's like, yeah, man, you little bro. He said, I'm the big bro in this outfit, you know, and then Canelo just wasn't going. So that was a little frackish, you know, that a little intense interaction ensued, but it wasn't anything serious, man. I just like it. I feel like it feels like a real fight now, and it's like, you know, I'm gonna be intrigued because, like I said, these two are phenomenal fighters, all-time greats that we're about to see fight. So whether you think Canelo's gonna win or you think Terrence Crawford's gonna win, this is a great fight between 2 combatants, man. I think it's great, but I also think that this made it a little bit more interesting because I'm interested in the fight, but that just sparked my interest even more. You know, I think that was a New York presser though, so the second presser. So I think it's just going to get more contentious, more trash talk. You know, I don't think it's going to be anything too rowdy. I don't think it's going to get like the Caleb Plant and Canelo presser or anything like that. But I do think it's going to be a little, you know, like a little nice little back and forth, kind of like how Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford was. But I'd even say with Canelo talking more trash to Errol Spence, because Errol Spence wasn't really talking too much trash at the press conferences. It was mostly his entourage and stuff and his family. So yeah, I don't know. I just loved it, you know. But I do think Cinnamon is going to win. Like I said, I think that the weight disparity is going to be a little too much. With him going all the way up to light heavyweight and being successful against Sergey Kovalev and then being unsuccessful against Dmitry Bivol. I do think what you could pull from that is the fact that he's never been hurt. You know what I'm saying? Jermell Charlo damn sure didn't hurt him. Triple G never hurt him. Dmitry Bivol beat him, but he didn't hurt him. Sergey Kovalev, you know, he didn't hurt him. He's been there with guys like Sugar Shane Mosley and so many other guys that I think are probably significantly stronger as far as one punch power goes than Terrence Bud Crawford. And so it's just hard for me to see that if those guys couldn't hurt him, that Terrence Bud Crawford could hurt him. Now, I will say this, though. You don't have to hurt somebody to beat somebody in boxing. It's boxing, right? So he could outpoint him, but that's not really Terrence Bud Crawford's style. You know, Terrence Bud Crawford's style is he's usually the bigger dog in the fight. And I'm not talking about physically, but I'm just talking about like from a mental standpoint. You know, he usually imposes his will. You know, even when he fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, you know, the undefeated little Mike Tyson, he got hurt in there, and then what did he do? He went and dropped Yuriorkis Gamboa. Even with Sean Porter, he thought he was down, and he went in and dropped Sean Porter. So even with Errol Spence, you know, he was a counterpunch demon in that fight, but he was just showed that he wasn't going to be the little guy, and that's why I loved how he kind of pushed, not kind of, how he pushed Canelo back, because he was just showing like, hey man, even when I'm the smaller guy, I'm still the bigger dog. You know what I'm saying? So I love that, man. I love that energy. But I do think that Terrence Crawford is slightly more skilled than Canelo. I think people exaggerate how much more skilled he is than Canelo, but I definitely think he's more skilled than Canelo. However, I think that the size disparity is bigger than the skill gap. So I think that I don't know if he's so much more skilled that he's going to overcome the mass, that additional mass of Canelo. So that's why I'm going with Canelo, because I think that Terrence Crawford, he's not really an elusive fighter. He's never demonstrated that. In 41 fights, you know, I never seen him really demonstrate hit and not get hit style. You know, he really engages and embraces the conflict. So that's why I got Canelo stopping him late, like I would say 10 or 11 in a very competitive fight. I have Terrence Bud Crawford winning the majority of the rounds in the first half of the fight, you know, but I think Canelo's going to slowly take over, you know, but I don't think Terrence Crawford's going to run. However, if he does quote unquote run or outbox Canelo, I don't see the problem in that. So as much as I like Cinnamon, you know, that's my favorite fighter, him and Tank, I didn't like him pandering to the casuals, man, the stupid, idiotic, moronic casuals, man, saying that, oh, you know, we don't want people to run. We don't want people to run. They're not running. They're boxing. This is hit and don't get hit. It's a sweet science. It's an art form. It's not just primitive bashing each other's faces with clubs like Neanderthals. Like if you want to watch that, then go watch Power Slapper. Go watch something where they don't move around as much, you know? Like I'm not saying that it's a very intriguing, entertaining fight when fighters utilize the entirety of the ring and use their feet, but to make it seem like it's such a problem, like it's just overwhelming, it happens at an overwhelming rate, is this just not true? You know what I'm saying? Like we don't see that many incidents of Devin Haney and Jose Carlos Ramirez. We don't see too many instances of Teofimo and Jermaine Ortiz. We don't see too many instances of Shakur Stevenson, Edwin De Los Santos. We don't see too many instances of William Skull and Canelo. We don't see too many instances of Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad. Yeah, because those guys ran too, you know. So to act like it's a problem, like you could literally name the fights for the most part where the guy is implementing or exhibiting such a fighting style. You know, there's a lot of fights in between that, plethora of fights in between that are very much engaging. Look at Isa Pipo Cruz and Angel Fierro. That was a very engaging fight, you know. So I just think for every one bad fight that we have, if you really watch boxing, you can name at least 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 more that were great, you know. So I just think people are exaggerating. I think, like I said, I think it's an effort to smear a certain fighter that they don't like, and that smear campaign is going towards Devin Haney. That's why this suddenly came and was a problem. You know, it was never that big of a problem before to where we had to change the confines of boxing or change the rules or even add a rule. But now when Devin Haney employs it and he's victorious because people don't like him, and I'm not the biggest fan of Devin Haney either, but I'm very objective and I call it for what I see. And I think that's when the problem really surfaced, is because he was successful doing it against Jose Carlos Ramirez. But even when there's a runner, typically speaking, in every other instance, the runner usually loses. So there's already rules and countermeasures in place to account for somebody running and not engaging. Jermaine Ortiz lost to Teofimo. William School lost to Canelo. So like even Oscar De La Hoya lost to Tito Trinidad. You know what I'm saying? So usually the runner loses, but when the runner doesn't lose, it's because, if you're honest, he's not just running. He or she's not just running. They're actually outpointing the fighter as well as being very agile. You know what I'm saying? Dimitri Bivol does it a lot. You know, we seen Shakur beat Edwin De Los Santos, and we saw Devin Haney beat Ramirez. You know, and it's so funny because Devin Haney actually outlanded. He I don't know if he outthrew. I think he outthrew and outlanded more punches than Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero did in their fight, but people don't focus on that. He definitely outlanded Jose Carlos Ramirez. But anyway, the point is that I didn't like Canelo pandering to the casuals and asking Turkey to make the ring small. Even though I got Canelo winning and I like Canelo, I didn't like that part because to me it's like it's just looking for an excuse, you know. Like Canelo, I like Canelo because he's great, and when you're a great fighter, you do great things. You know, it's like in basketball, Giannis can't shoot threes. Should we move the 3-point arc closer so it can be easier for Giannis, or do we just expect Giannis to develop a 3-point shot and be great? Or stick to what he's doing best. Stay in the paint and stay in the post. We're not going to change the game to make it easier for certain fighters or certain basketball players that we like. It's like Steph Curry. He doesn't dunk much, but if you want to see Steph Curry do a windmill, should we lower the rims to make it easier for him to dunk? Like, what are we talking about, bro? So, like, I'd understand if we're changing the rules of the game for the safety of the players to make it more, I don't know, to make it more even interesting. But I could even argue that if you change the no run, if you implement a no running rule, it makes it less intriguing, because my favorite fighter is, like I said, Canelo and Tank, right? I like them because they cut off the ring very well, especially if you're a Tank fan. You know that. You ask Frank Martin how well Tank cut off the ring. Ask Billy Joe Saunders how well Canelo cut off the ring. Ask Bivol and everybody else that Beterbiev fought how well he cuts off the ring. So it can be done, but are you great enough to do it? You know, and so my point is that if you don't let fighters fight their own style and implement and execute their own game plan in the ring, then a lot of fights aren't as intriguing. Who is interested in Tank versus Shakur if Shakur has to stand directly in front of Tank? There's no point in watching that fight anymore. You see what I'm saying? So we at least for me, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but there is a saying, there's a cliche in boxing that says styles make fights. So if Tank has to fight Shakur, and let's say that Shakur is handicapped and he can't implement his game style of keep away, then that fight is no longer interesting. I know Tank's going to win. You know what I'm saying? The reason why it's interesting, the reason why I like it, because I think Tank's going to beat Shakur, and I think that he's better, and I think that he will overcome Shakur's elusive style or rangy style, and he'll still win. But if you're telling me that, okay, well, this guy has to fight like this, it's like Beterbiev and Bivol. If we limit the movement of Bivol is definitely going to lose to Beterbiev. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I just hate that notion, man. I feel like we're not even asking fighters to be great. It's like, oh, well, we like this fighter, so we want to pander to their style and cater to their style. No, bro, no, freak that. Let the ring be the regular size. Now, if they negotiate a small ring, that's cool, but don't enforce a small ring to cater to somebody else. Now, if that's what you negotiate, because some things are negotiable, like ring size, like the glove size and stuff like that, then that's cool. That's between them. But as an event planner, as a fan, we shouldn't be, or as a or whatever the case may be, somebody for the outside looking in shouldn't be able to control or even influence the size of things like the ring to try to cater to one fighter's style. I think that's corny, and the fact that you even want to do that to me, it just lets me know that you have way too much invested into your favorite fighter. It's not even about boxing. It's about that you're infatuated with another human being that you don't even know, especially if you're a man. That's very unbecoming of a man. Ah, man, don't forget to smack that like button. Good morning, Garden Snake. What's good, brethren? He said Canelo fought off the back foot versus Triple G. Bro, Canelo could do it all. That's why I like Canelo. Like when Canelo fought William Skull, right? I was mad at Skull because the fight that he fought was terrible, right? But I was actually mad at Canelo as well because I thought he could have put more effort into cutting off the ring, because I seen him do that before. You see what I'm saying? We've seen great fighters cut off the ring. I'm not saying cutting off the ring is easy. It's not supposed to be easy. We're talking about top tier athletes at the highest position. We're talking about world champions. We're talking about undisputed champions. We're talking about unified champions. We're talking about pound for pound champions. Duh, nothing they do is easy. So when people say, oh, well, cutting off the ring ain't easy, it's not supposed to be easy. You're in there one-on-one fight, mano y mano, or one mano y one mano. You're fighting each other. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, then you would do it. Then I would do it. So to make it seem like cutting off the ring has to be easy, it shouldn't be easy. Nor is running around the ring. That's not easy either. You just don't like it, so you try to minimize it and make it seem like it's easy. They're not in there running around like Usain Bolt. If you watch somebody that's running, they're usually countering. I don't know if you ever played, like, let's say, I don't know, like if you ever play football. I know it's not directly like this, but hear me out. Like, what do they say is the hardest position on the football field? It's a cornerback. And if you played cornerback before, that means they say it's the hardest because you're usually lined up against the fastest guy in the field, and then you have to react to what they're doing. So your response time has to be like this. So when you're a cornerback and you're trying to maneuver and keep up with the wide receiver, it's very hard. So you could kind of say, oh yeah, well, you know, it depends on how you look at it, right? You could look at it as the fighter that's on the defensive side trying to avoid the fighter coming forward as a cornerback, or you could look at the guy that's in pursuit as a cornerback. So it depends on what you're talking about. So if you're talking about coming off the blocks, really, if you're coming off the blocks, the guy that's going off the back foot and side to side is the defensive fighter. He's not just running forward. Let's say, for example, William Skull is moving around and he's countering all the movements of Canelo. So I'm not saying that whichever one you want to say is harder, whether you want to say tracking down the mover is harder or reacting and avoiding the pressure fighter is harder, that's on you. But what I'm saying is that neither one of the actions, no matter how you want to cut it, are hard. I mean, are easy. All of them are difficult. You know what I'm saying? You try to outrun somebody, outmaneuver somebody going backwards, and the other person's coming forward. It's very hard to do that, especially if they're both a professional pugilist. So to make it seem like one of them is easy, it's not easy. I couldn't out-circle or outmaneuver Canelo for 12 rounds. You couldn't either. I couldn't outmaneuver or circle Gervonta Davis or Artur Beterbiev for 12 rounds. We've seen people try it. Matter of fact, the only person that was successful doing it was Dimitri Bivol. Everybody else, Beterbiev knocked out. You don't think Callum Smith tried to circle the ring on Beterbiev? You don't think so? Did you watch the fight? So when people try to circle the ring, they're very unsuccessful against guys who could cut off the ring. The only time that they're usually successful is against either A, the guy is not putting forth effort like Canelo didn't, or B, the dude doesn't know how to cut off the ring like Teofimo. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. We got to tell the whole story. But switch it up. Shout out to my guy Tufo in the building. What's good, brethren? So that's just it for the Buddy Canelo pressure. I thought it was funny with him asking to make the ring smaller, but I don't really like it because, you know, I think it's just fighter. He's like, to me, Canelo's better than that. You know, to me, it seemed like he's already making an excuse as to why, you know, the fight's going to be difficult. I don't think Terrence Crawford's gonna run, but if he does, then I'm gonna need Canelo to counter that, like he usually does. You know what I'm saying? Like you did against Caleb Plant, like you did against Billy Joe Saunders. You know what I'm saying? Implement some head movement. That head movement that he did against Danny Jacobs and Triple G, that's very hard as well. You couldn't do it, but he did it. You know what I'm saying? Be great. You know, same with Tank. Tank cut off the ring off Frank Martin. Be great, bro. That's what we like. That's why we like them, because they're great. So stop making it easy for these fighters to be great, man, just because you like them. That's just weird. But yeah, that was it for the presser, man. I thought that was very interesting, man. And speaking on something else, man, I want to stick with Canelo, man. Now, this had me crying laughing, man. Shout out to David Benavidez, man. He's definitely one of my favorite fighters. I like David Benavidez. Notice how I did that. Canelo's my favorite, but I also like David Benavidez. Yeah, I know a lot of people can't do that. I don't know why, but they feel like they're obligated to pick a certain side. Don't forget to smack that like button, but they feel like they can't just like two fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's not that deep. But I definitely like Canelo more, and I think Canelo beats David Benavidez. But I like David Benavidez too, man. I don't see what is there not to like. You know, David Benavidez is a beast. He fights everybody, and I guess I didn't really like when he pulled up on Caleb Plant and they jumped him. You know, when him and his brother jumped Caleb Plant and his trainer. But I mean, it's boxing, man. It is what it is. So, you know, it was a bad look, just like Keyshawn Davis jumping to here. Albright was a bad look. But other than that, you know, we get over it. But David Benavidez had a little interview, and he had a little interview, and I thought this was hilarious, man. He said that he thinks Canelo is cheating. He said that he doesn't think Canelo ever stopped cheating. He said that his whole camp is cheating. He said, how do you have five fighters in the same camp and y'all all pop dirty? He said, yeah, Canelo just hasn't stopped cheating. He just mastered it now. And I just thought that was funny, man. You know, first of all, obviously it's going to sound bad, right? People aren't going to take it seriously because it's David Benavidez, right? And we already know that David Benavidez wants the Canelo fight. And, you know, you argue that he deserved the Canelo fight and he didn't get it. So now he just kind of acts bitter towards it, right? You know, even saying that Terrence Crawford and Canelo's a trash fight and all this stuff. You know, but I do think he has a point, right? I disagree. I don't think Cinnamon's a cheater. But, you know, he did get caught cheating with the clenbuterol years ago, right? And he took it to court and got his sentence, his punishment reduced. It was initially like a year and a half, 18 months. Then it got reduced to 6 months because he proved that it wasn't intentional. And I believe him, you know what I'm saying? He took it to the judicial system and it got proven that way, right? So, but he still has that blemish on his record. And of course, that's with the Eddie Reynoso camp. They have Ryan Garcia, who's affiliated with the Eddie Reynoso camp. He popped dirty. You got Oscar Valdez. He popped dirty. You know, you got, what's the other dude's name? damn, what's the other dude's name? Jaime Munguia, Reynoso camp. He popped dirty. So it's like, I don't think anybody's wrong with being suspicious. However, I will say this. I do think, I don't think he's cheating, but man, I'm not mad at anybody making those accusations, because especially not David Benavidez in the form. I think that all fighters, you know what I'm saying, including Terrence Crawford, since he's about to fight Canelo, I think anybody fighting anybody should be suspicious of the other fighter cheating, but especially if they're coming for Eddie Reynoso. It's just a reality right now, you know. There's so many fighters that have been associated, whether it's Louis Neary or affiliated with the with Eddie Reynoso's camp, and have been popped dirty, you know, even Julio Cesar Martinez. So it's just like, if you're not suspicious at this point, I think you might be kind of dumb. You know, you gotta cross your T's and dot your I's. You know, dot your I's and cross your T's, and you don't want anybody to be cheating. So any clean fighter, I feel like, should be saying the same thing as David Benavidez. Now, people won't take it seriously, like I said, because it's David Benavidez, and people think that, oh, you know, he might be a little bitter towards not getting the fight. But I have no problem with what he's saying. I might disagree with it, you know, but yeah, the optics look terrible, Garden Snake, exactly. So I think I'm not mad at anybody making those accusations, and I think that all clean fighters should not just question if their opponent is doing it, but question guys and camps where they have multiple instances of fighters popping dirty, man. Like, you know, you should always want to protect the sanctity and the purity and the integrity of the sport. Shout out to D1 in the building. What's good, brethren? Shout out to Kendrick in the building. What's good, folk? He said F that. Snack fighters can't say shit about cheating. I don't know, man. I disagree, man. I think that, you know, with the snack fighters, I think it's one thing to be affiliated with a guy that messed up in the past, and to be called a cheater. You know, I think that's two different things, because, you know, people can't change, and it's like with Canelo, right? It's like, I don't hold Canelo. Canelo actually tested dirty, but he went through the judicial system, and he came out to where it was unintentional consumption. So I'm cool with that, you know. But I don't think it's enough to say, it's as suspicious as Eddie Reynoso's fighters look, I don't think it's enough to say, oh, I'm an Eddie Reynoso fighter, so I'm dirty. So I'm gonna apply the same exact logic and process to Victor Conti, right? I don't think it's enough to say, oh, I'm a snack endorsed fighter, so I'm dirty. I don't think that's enough. But I'm not mad at anybody being suspicious, but you know, these fighters take tests, you know what I'm saying? If they're not failing, then they're not failing. You know, I mean, there's a lot of snack endorsed fighters like Caleb Plant, you know, Terrence Crawford, Clarissa Shields, I think Devin Haney, obviously, Josecito Lopez, remember him, Mikey Garcia. So there's a lot of snack affiliated fighters that never pop dirty. So I can't really put a blanketed statement. I feel like for me, that'd be like irresponsible for me, you know what I'm saying? But it does, you know, anybody suspicious, of course, you know, Victor Conti has a past, you know what I'm saying? That's even, it goes beyond the genre of boxing, you know what I'm saying? So it goes into other sports as well. So I definitely get it. I just disagree, you know, but like I said, with David Benavidez, man, I thought that was funny. And I think that every fighter should be suspicious. I think that the awareness should be raised for cheaters. Like, for example, I like Manny Pacquiao, one of my favorite fighters of all time, right? I don't think he's a cheater, but does it look suspicious? You gosh dang right it looks suspicious. Especially when he didn't want to fight Floyd because he didn't want to subscribe to the Olympic style testing. But then the same guy that didn't want to subscribe to Olympic style testing is the same guy that wants to fight in the Olympics years later. So which one is it? You know what I'm saying? First you said it was your religion. Did you change religions? You see what I'm saying? Like, so, or like, do you like, it's just crazy, bro. So it's like, you put up such a fight about being tested, but then you later on want to subscribe to the testings. I mean, it just seems very suspicious, like I said. So I don't think he cheated, but I do have some questions with regards to that, and people should be suspicious, especially if you're gonna fight these guys. So with Manny Pacquiao, it's like, I don't think he cheated, but let's be honest right now, if you've been paying attention like I have, he hasn't, at least to my research and what I've seen, Manny Pacquiao has not been tested for the Mario Barrios fight yet. Mario Barrios has. Manny Pacquiao hasn't. And am I going to feel bad for Mario Barrios? Absolutely not, because you're a fighter. You should put your welfare first. You should also be very outspoken in regards to these things. More people should be outspoken. You know what I'm saying? Why hasn't Manny Pacquiao been tested? At least from what I've seen. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they did some behind the scenes testing. But remember, Manny Pacquiao is ranked number 5 in the WBC. if you look at the rankings right now, he's no longer in the rankings anymore. Why is that? I don't know, but I could tell you that they would remove you out of rankings if you don't abide by the testing. Now, does that mean that he for sure hasn't been tested? No, but that's one of the reasons why you could be removed out of the rankings for the it's for the WBC. That's just what's known, you know. And so with him not being there anymore, and with me not seeing anywhere that he's been tested for this fight is kind of suspicious. But if you're Mario Barrios and you want to go through with it, then hey, go ahead and get your head get your head top knocked off. If that's what you want to subscribe to, it is what it is, man. Smack that like button for your boy. I appreciate it, man. Don't forget to smack that like button. He said Terrence Crawford got medical exemption for testing. I'm suspicious he goes up 3 divisions and beats Canelo. I'm accused. I'm not, but he did get tested though. He got tested already. D1. He got tested. I don't know if you saw it, but he has like his little I don't know if you've been watching, but he has his little episodes. Yeah, Kendrick saw it. He just got tested, right? He has like his little episodes. He's doing like a little blog or vlog, I should say. And they pulled up on him. It was around that. Remember that little skit that he did with what's the dude's name? Steven So Cold Nelson, when he power slapped him, you know, trying to show some love to Dana White and stuff like that. You know, because Dana White probably forced him to do that to promote his other business ventures outside of boxing. But Bovada pulled up on him in that, so it was a random drug tester. So I don't know about Canelo. You know, I'd assume that Canelo has been having people randomly pop up on him as well, but I haven't seen it. But I actually seen Terrence Crawford get pulled up on. So he said, so. So yeah, but I'm not mad at that though. If I agree with D1 though, if Canelo, if Terrence Crawford goes up 3 divisions essentially, because I still count him as a 147-pound fighter because he only fought one fight at 154, and it was his debut against an undefeated Madrimov, right? So I thought that was phenomenal, right? He jumped up at his debut at a new weight class and fought an undefeated champion. Boom, that's fire. But if he goes up from 154, 160, 168, and he's endorsed by Snack, you know, then it gets a little suspicious. So I'm not mad at anybody being suspicious, but Terrence Crawford did get tested according to the video evidence. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm not mad at anybody. I think we should normalize. And I'm not saying, when I say this, there's a difference between dotting your I's and crossing your T's and making full blown allegations, you know what I'm saying, accusations. I don't think even what D1 said, I'm accusing. I don't think that's accusing. I mean, it's accusing, but accusing has a negative connotation. I feel like if you are asking those questions, then you're being responsible. You know what I'm saying? I think you're being a responsible boxing fan. I think we should question these things because we've seen so many people cheat before. You know, I don't care if we just happen to be boxing fans. I don't care if it's baseball. I don't care if it's a basketball, track, whatever. If somebody runs a little extra faster and you check they last 100-yard dash and they got a half a second faster in a span of 2 track meets, test them, because I feel like that's just being careful. You're not really making accusations. You're just like, okay, bet, you know, we want to test everybody. Everybody should be getting tested, but we should test more just to make sure that everything is copacetic. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's only something wrong with that if you're doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, why would you? Floyd subscribed to all the tests. You see what I'm saying? So everybody, if you subscribe to the test, then what's the problem? If I test you now, today, tomorrow, at nighttime, in the morning, why does it matter? 2 weeks before the fight, the night of the fight, shouldn't matter. So yeah, man. So yeah, he said, you think Usyk will beat Dubois? I'm not there yet. He said, underdog story, the sleeping giant out of all this, Bud, for the mother freaking win. Speculate all you want. Yep, talk to him. Snack fighters like Plant, Porter, Sean Porter, Nonito Donaire, Boo Boo Andre Barrios, over the years all got beat. It's just Victor Conte. Name attached to anything will look shady. Yeah, that's a fact. 23 says, J-Paul, I'm not there yet. He said, yes, I'm watching. He got tested, but we'll never see the results because he's anemic. Hey, we might never see the results. But I'm going to put it like this. See, I'm not really one for the conspiracy theory. So, yeah. D1 wildin'. But I will say this. If you get tested and the fight doesn't get canceled, then I'm assuming you clean. You see what I'm saying? It's like I didn't have to see the results for Devin Haney because he tested negative. We see the results for Ryan Garcia because he tests positive. So if I see that you got tested and I don't see the results, it's safe for me to assume that you're good. You see what I'm saying? It's like Callum Smith when he tested and Beterbiev tested. We didn't hear anything about Callum Smith's test, so no news is good news. We heard about Beterbiev's test. Why? Because his came up adverse. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, it wasn't not an adverse analytical finding. It came back abnormal. Sorry. So the adverse analytical finding means that it's suspicious. Abnormal just means that it might need to be a little bit more. It need to be tested again, you know, retested. So, yeah, but we heard about that. We didn't hear about Colin Smith's test because he was clean. You see what I'm saying? There was no problem. So if I see that you're tested, I'm cool. It don't matter if I see no results. That means that the results are good and the fight's still going. But if you're not tested, that's where the problem is. If Bud is suspicious, the Pac-Man is Jeffrey. The Pac-Man is Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm telling you. Yeah, I can't put that cheat mess on nobody till I see. He said, I'm just messing with the Bud fans, but if he knock Canelo out, he's dirty. Hey, I will say this too, though. No, but this is a good conversation. I think it's a good conversation because, like I said, us talking about it and us being aware of it, it heightens the awareness. It brings it to the forefront. Bro, I like Canelo, I like Tank, I like Junto, I like Terrence Crawford. Bro, as much as I like him, I don't want any of them to cheat. Like I said, I put money on Ryan Garcia. When I found out he cheated, he dirty. You know what I'm saying? I don't rock with that. You know, I put money on Ryan Garcia to beat Devin Haney. It is what it is. I won money, but once you cheat, bro. So I don't want anybody to win by any means necessary. No, I'm a boxing fan first, you know. There's some boxers, I mean, that's the human in us, right? We're gonna gravitate to somebody who strikes a chord with us, or we're gonna have preferences. But I think it's something else besides preference. It's like a childish, immature infatuation with a fighter when you want them to win by any means necessary and you're okay with anything they do because you like them. That's weird. I can't relate to that. You know, I like boxing, man. So but yeah, so anybody who tests dirty, they test dirty. You know, I think that everybody should be tested. We should normalize that. And I feel like it shouldn't even be anything that's negotiated. It should be something that's implemented by default everywhere, not just in America, not just in England, not just in Jamaica, not just in Mexico, but Japan, Russia, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Nigeria, everywhere should have universal testing, and I think it should be random and year long, in my personal opinion. But that's just my personal opinion on it, man. But yeah, so shout out to David Benavidez. I don't think Canelo's cheating, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, people are gonna look at it as him being bitter and petty, but I love it. I think that everybody should be concerned about people cheating. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're fighting them or not. I think that everybody should be concerned, and if you're a clean athlete, then you should want everybody else to be clean as well. You know, that's just my personal opinion. You know, he said, won't surprise me at all. Buzz stops. What's up, Boxer Guru? I will say this as well. If Crawford, which I don't think he stops him, but if Crawford stops him, I don't think it'll be like a one punch thing. I think it'll be an accumulation of punches, and it'll be just superior skill and overwhelming him. I don't think it'll be like, oh, if he stops him, I think it's because, man, he just one shot, one power shot. No, I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think everybody can get hurt, man. You know what I'm saying? As much of a beast Cinnamon is going up to 175, it's about the placement of punches, and it's about the timing of your punches, right? So, and we know Terrence Crawford's a great counter puncher, and he's very precise. Like I said, I have Cinnamon winning, but if Terrence Crawford does win and he does something crazy like stop Canelo, I don't think it necessarily means that he's on anything or anything fouls at play. I think that it depends on how he does it. Like if he does it, I think it'll be an accumulation of punches, and it'll just be a steady beat down to where Canelo is just taking excessive amount of punches and he can't do anything to respond. You know what I'm saying? He's just too slow and maybe aged overnight. I don't know, and that's why it was very concerning for me against the William Skull fight. And it wasn't concerning to me because he couldn't track him down. To me, Canelo didn't even want to. You know what I'm saying? That's what concerned me, is the fact that he didn't have a desire to cut off the ring. And that's why I like Cinnamon, because he does great things. Like I said, I've seen him cut off the ring before against Caleb Plant, against Billy Joe Saunders, against so many other people. I literally seen him chase down Alfonso Gomez and knock him out. That was a much younger Canelo, but still, we seen him do that. And to me, he was just complacent. He was cool with just allowing William Skull to move around like that. He was like, whatever, I'll just stand in the ring. You come on, and I'm just going to pander to the crowd and make it seem like I want to fight and you don't want to fight. I don't think that's good enough. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's concerning to me, is his effort. What if Canelo gets in there, is like, man, I don't want to do this anymore, man. Like Sonny, I don't think he'll pull a Sonny Edwards, but I'm just saying, like, to me, that's more of a possibility, and I could see Terrence Crawford winning that way. But like I said, I got Canelo winning, but I don't even think if Terrence Crawford stops him is necessarily suspicious, Shout out to my guy, Garden Snake Mentality, dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. He said, "You like the incentive bonuses for the KO like UFC does? I love it, bro. I think the incentives, and see, I'm so glad you asked that, Garden State Mentality. I like that because to me that's better than a no running rule. Now, does a KO incentive mean anything for guys like Canelo and Crawford? No, because according to reports, Canelo and Crawford are getting upwards of 100 million each. Like, right? I've seen some say where Canelo's getting 200 million and Terrence Crawford's getting 100 million, you know, but either way, they're getting 8 figures, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? Let's say it's a 1 million KO incentive. Who cares? Like, when, you know, you're not going to jeopardize your win to try to go all out to get a knockout when it's really inconsequential to the amount of money that you're already getting by default. But I do love that. To me, that's an appropriate response to the no running rule. You know, you give them an incentive to do what you want them to do, but you don't change the confines of the sport because you want to see something in a fight. Then, I mean, you might as well do WWE, right? Then now you're scripting it, right? If you're saying that, oh, this fighter, you can't do this, you can't fight this style, you have to fight this style, and this style just happens to benefit this style, or this fighter, then you're almost scripting the fight. You're sabotaging it. You're manipulating the fight. Let the fighters be the fighters. Like I said, that's outside of your jurisdiction. If you're an event planner, if you're a fan, if you're a referee, you have no business telling the fighters how to fight. That's the job of the fighter and the job of the trainer, nobody else. If you don't like it, then that's cool. If Turk, I rock with Big Turk. If Big Turk doesn't like fighters that run, don't put fighters that run on your card. That's how you do it. You don't put a fighter that runs on your card and then tell them how to fight. You see what I'm saying? That's sabotage, bro. So I don't mind. Hey, Big Turk is the billfold. He's paying the money. So if you want to pay somebody, and just like the fan, if you don't want to watch a pay-per-view, if you don't want to pay for a pay-per-view with a runner on there, then don't buy it. You're pretty much familiar with the fighters by now. You know who has what tendency, who does what game plan. So if you don't like Shakur, if you don't like Lomachenko, if you don't like Devin Haney, if you don't like Dimitri Bivol or anybody else you want to call a runner, don't buy that fight. Simple. But don't buy the fight and then want Devin Haney to turn into Tank. That's stupid. Don't buy the fight with Bivol and expect him to fight like Beterbiev. Don't buy the fight with Shakur and expect him to fight like, I don't know, Julio Cesar Chavez. That's stupid. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with people not like, bro, we all have preferences. You know what I'm saying? I don't like flute music, but I'm not going to buy a flute album and get mad because he's not rapping like Busta Rhymes. That's stupid. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to buy a Tupac album and expect him to be singing like Taylor Swift. That's stupid. If I don't like the Taylor Swift sound, I'm not going to buy the Taylor Swift album, but I'm not going to buy the Taylor Swift album and expect Beyonce. That's dumb. So if Turk doesn't want to see runners, that's cool. Don't put a runner on your card and then tell the runner to fight like Isaac Cruz. That's dumb. That's the problem I have. I have no problem with somebody not liking something. Hey, you have your preference, bro. We don't all like the same thing. You see what I'm saying? That's cool. But don't manipulate the fighter's game plan and try to try to handicap the fighters. That's corny. That's corny, bro. We got Thomas in the building. What's good, brethren? Thomas Hill in the building, man. My guy. Appreciate you coming through, man. Don't forget to smack that like button. Smack that like button. He said open scoring solves all this, running or not. Hey, shout out to the WBC Grand Prix. Like my guy Oscar mentioned earlier, man. That has open scoring. I don't really know what stops the running and stuff. But yeah, I think open scoring will definitely make fighters fight with more urgency because you know where you're at. I love open scoring. You know what I'm saying? I rock with open scoring. You feel me? Yo, shout out to my guy. Is that D1? Shout out to my guy D1 in the building, man. Just a couple bucks for the cook. Shout out to my guy, man. Hit me with the $2 on the Cash App, man. Y'all follow my guy D1, man. Definitely a dope streamer, man. Dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Appreciate it, man. Shout out to D1, man. I appreciate the love, bro. Shout out to you, bro. Yes, sir. Shout out to my guy D1, man. Appreciate that, bro. Yes, sir. Y'all check out my guy D1, man. One of the few podcast boxing channels that I rock with for real. Rock with heavy. You know, there's a couple out there. You know, D1. Yeah. Shout out to D1, man. D1. You know, Ryan Frazier, Boxer Talk Up North. 2 Cents, Just Do, Jab Queens. I rock with them, man. So y'all go check them out. if you have opportunity, man. D1 hashtag angry white man. I appreciate you, bro. Yours your cash up. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Coolest engineer. Yes, sir. That's me. Yes, sir. Yeah, he's an engineer. Yes, sir. That's definitely me, man. I appreciate it, bro. Shout out to my guy Thomas in the building as well, man. Thank you, bro. He said we the good doctor in the building. What's good, bro? Hey man, we chilling, man. Big doctor in the building. Definitely don't forget to like though. Yes, please don't forget to smack that like button. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think open score. Shout out to my guy D1 again, man. I gotta jump up there one time and chop it up with you, man. But yes, sir, appreciate you too, Thomas. I had to dip out yesterday, man. I saw you showing love, man. I ain't gonna lie, Thomas. I saw what you put in 2 cent stream. I didn't want to put my link down, because I feel like, I don't want to step on nobody's toes, man. And I know that she said I could. And I know you told me, and I was going to, and I appreciate you, but I didn't want to. I don't know. I just felt like I was stepping on somebody's toes. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to try to take away attention from their show. Even though I tell them to do the same thing in my show, I just felt, I don't know. But right there, I just didn't feel like it was good. But shout out to you though, man. I appreciate it. Doc, I remember when they did open scoring in Canelo Trout fight, and one judge had the 118 one. Yeah, man, they be wilding. They be wilding with the open score. Hey, man, some of them judges be wilding, and some of them need to be shooed away from the sport. But it is what it is, man. It's all preference, and sometimes these judges definitely sabotage for one certain side. He said she a ballerina. Them toes tucked, fam. Hey, yo, facts. Hey, my boy Thomas always got the wordplay.
Yeah.
He said she a ballerina.
Yeah.
Them toes tucked, fam.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah, yep. Oh man, that's too funny. But yeah, man, I think that open scoring is good, man. I don't mind open scoring, but I don't know if it solves a problem, because this is what the problem is, right? They're saying that people are trying to survive because they're already getting paid. And I don't think that's the case. I think people are trying to win by any means necessary. And, you know what I'm saying? Did Charlo try to survive against Canelo? You gosh dang right. He felt that power one time. He's like, I'm not going. I'm already good. But that doesn't happen that often, And I don't think that, while I think a smaller ring would have helped Canelo cut it off, but go back and watch that fight. Did you think that Canelo was intent on cutting off the ring against Charlo? Canelo allowed him to keep away, to play keep away. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what we be watching. Maybe I'll be watching something different, but like, I've seen these guys and girls do things before. So when they don't do it, I don't see it as them being incapable. I see them as them not doing it. Now, not everybody. Some fighters are better than others. Obviously, Teofimo can't cut off the ring. We saw that against Jermaine Ortiz. But obviously, we've seen plenty of times where Gervonta Davis, a lot of your favorite fighter, Canelo Alvarez, a lot of people's favorite fighter, we've seen them cut off the ring. I've seen Jutsu Nakatani do it, so I see Beterbiev do it. So is everybody going to be able to do it? No, but everybody doesn't work on that. That's why I think Imam Katayev is going to get his behind whooped by David Morrell, because I've seen Imam Katayev fight before. It was a long time ago, but it was in the amateurs against a guy who has a similar style to David Morrell, and that's Ben Whitaker. Go watch that Ben Whitaker and Imam Katayev fight. Imam Katayev doesn't know how to cut off the ring. And that's why Jim Cambosa's done behind. That's why he's so excited. Oh yeah, I can't wait to have an 18x18 ring because my guy's a pressure guy. That's literally what he said. I made a short about it. I made a video about it. He's excited about a small ring. Because he thinks that's going to be advantageous for his fighter. That's what it boils down to. It's not that these people that are advocating for a small ring and no running rule. It's not that they're demonstrating some type of altruism and some type of righteousness for the sport. No, they have a fighter that they like, or the fighter that they have, or that they train, and they don't want to work on their weaknesses. They want to just focus on their strengths, and they don't want to make a complete fighter. They want to make a one-dimensional fighter. So when the fighter goes in there, not knowing how to adapt, not knowing how to do things like cut off the ring or do things that they're not accustomed to, then they get exposed, and they don't want that. So they want to play into their fighter's strengths, which is cool. But people should tell the truth. They shouldn't try to masquerade like, oh, they're doing it for the betterment of the sport. No, you're not. It's just because you have a pressure fighter, like Jim Cambosa said, and you think that this will behoove them to have a smaller ring. David Morrell's gonna beat the hell out of him. Watch. I'm telling you, bro. I'm so confident in this fight. Now, if David Morrell's not the same because he lost to David Benavidez, that might be something. But David Morrell's gonna beat the hell out of Imam Katayev, because Imam Katayev, he doesn't know how to cut off the ring. And his manager, Jim Cambosa's, is not worried about developing his weaknesses. He just wants to focus on his strengths. And that's why you don't become a complete fighter. It's like when people talk about Michael Jordan in basketball. Oh, Michael Jordan couldn't shoot the three. If Michael Jordan played in today's game, you better believe he would have developed the three ball. You remember that game against Portland when he dropped 6 threes in a row? Yeah, he would have did that probably every other game because he would have worked on his three ball. That's because that's what great people do. No matter if you're talking about sports or you talk about business or you talk about academics, great people will be great in any environment. They're going to adapt. Even Giannis is shooting threes right now. You don't think Jordan would develop a three-pointer? But that's how people think. They think, oh, because he didn't do it then. It's different times. That's why greatness translates eras. Because greatness will always adapt and find a way because they want to. They have that desire. Giannis is shooting. Dwight Howard was shooting threes. You don't think Jordan would have been able to shoot some threes? Freak out of here, bro. So that's what I'm saying. We stop making it easy. We don't make stuff easy, bro. We see these greats be great. And we want to see that. You see what I'm saying? We want to see that, bro. So if your favorite fighter gets exposed because they don't know how to cut off the ring, that is what it is, bro. I'm not trying to watch a primitive Neanderthal 8 men with freaking clubs bashing each other all day. No, I want to see the sweet science. I want to see cerebral thought in there. I want to see intellect in there as well as great athleticism. That's what Gervonta Davis represents. He's very cerebral in the ring. So is Canelo, so is Terrence Crawford, so is Usyk, so is Floyd, so is all these other great fighters. Like, they have deficiencies, they have vulnerabilities, but they still succeed despite that. Floyd Mayweather wasn't the biggest puncher, he was still successful. Gervonta Davis isn't the biggest fighter as far as stature, he's still successful. Canelo isn't the most fleet of foot, he's still successful. So you could find weaknesses, but to me, it's great to see them overcome their weaknesses and their deficiencies. That's what makes you great. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I want to move on, and I want to go to Usyk, man. So someone mentioned Usyk earlier. So switching gears, man. Please, you could call into the show to get your thoughts off. If you want to get your thoughts off, you could definitely call into the show and let me know, man, whatever you want to talk about in regards to these topics. But yeah, so moving forward, you can call in and get your 1 minute rundown in. You know what I'm saying? You get 3 minutes. Call in. You get a whole 3 minutes, man, and tell me everything that you feel, and you be uninterrupted. Get your thoughts off. But yeah, man. So Alexander Usyk, man. Let's go to the main topic. I know it took a while to get there. We almost an hour. We didn't even get to the main topic yet. So Alexander Usyk, man. Alexander Usyk is split from his longtime promoter, Alexander Krassyuk, right? And he said, unless it's their favorite fighters, unless it frames their favorite fighter or fighters, they rock with look better. Yep, that's what it is. That's a fact. So he said Pretty Boy. Yeah, Pretty Boy was doing his thing though. You know what I'm saying? But still, Pretty Boy Flow was doing his thing. But what's his name? Money Mayweather, he was still successful. He was just successful in a different fashion. That's what I'm talking about. So everybody, no, but you don't have to be, you know what I'm saying? That's greatness right there. Greatness is being able to even change your styles if your hands become compromised and still be successful. That's greatness. You know what I'm saying? That's greatness. Greatness is Giannis being in the post and developing the jump shot. That's greatness. Greatness is Steph Curry, who could barely dunk, still going in the paint and throwing up floaters and still laying it up over giants. That's greatness. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to handicap greatness. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to lower the rim so Steph Curry could do LeBron James windmills. We're not going to make the 3-point line closer so Giannis can make more threes. So we're not going to make the ring smaller so your pressure fighter can locate the person in front of him more easily. We're not doing that. That's corny. Work with what you got, bum. But anyway, it's like when I took a test for my PhD. Did they make the questions easier so I could pass it? No, I just got to pass it. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, there were no questions. You know what I'm saying? The questions aren't like, you don't know what the questions are, you know? In fact, I feel like they made it harder for me. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, let's move on, man. So Alexander Usyk split from Alexander Krassyuk, man. And I'm a little nervous, man. And I know on the surface, you got to hear me out. Hear me out. Hold tight. So on the surface, it's like, okay, Alexander Usyk is just a promoter. It's just a promoter. It doesn't mean much, right? You know, he's talking about potentially retiring anyway. He's at the end of his career. He probably doesn't need any more promoting for the duration. Might be cool, you know? But they've been together for 12 years. You feel me? And Alexander Usyk has been on record saying that he wants to have at least one more fight. And he was aiming, he was targeting the fight with a trilogy between AJ or Tyson Fury, because he's assuming that Tyson Fury and AJ will fight, and then he'll fight the winner. And then if he fights AJ, that'll be their third fight. And if Usyk fights Fury, that'll be their third fight. So he was saying he wants a trilogy with either the winner of AJ or Fury, right? So he's not really at the end, but he's going towards the end. And so my point is that not having a promoter on the surface, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal, right? However, they've been together for over a decade, 12 years to be exact. And the reason why I say that Usyk is falling for a similar trap that Gervonta Tank Davis fell for, remember what I said about Tank going into the Lamont Roach fight. If you remember what I said, shout out to you. If you don't remember what I said, don't worry, I'm about to catch you up. So when Tank wasn't working with Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny Ellis, and he was working with Barry Hunter, right? I said, man, Barry Hunter's a good trainer. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think he even got to work with Mustafa down in Georgia and stuff like that. Coach Mustafa, and that's cool. But I was like, it doesn't even matter how good the trainer is. You could go from, Greg Red Auerbach to Greg Popovich to Nate McMillan to Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr to Phil Jackson, right? All of those are good coaches for the most part. But it doesn't matter how good the coach is. It's the fact that it's something different that you're not accustomed to, that's changing up your the flow and the natural flow of things, or the flow that you're accustomed to already. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take you some time to adapt. It's going to take you some time to build that chemistry. It's not just about putting great players together and expect a great product, right? Look at Miami Heat with LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and D Wade and Ray Allen. No one expected them to lose at all. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't have the chemistry that Dirk Nowitzki, Tyson Chandler, Jason Kidd, and all of them had. That means something. Chemistry and your natural flow of things and things not getting disrupted means something. So what I'm saying is, yes, a trainer is more impactful and more significant to your game plan as a fighter, but your camp is different now. Maybe Usyk has some more things on his mind that he wouldn't normally have because Krassyuk would have took care of it already. Maybe he's focused on the fact that they did have a fallout, so now you're at training, but your mind is somewhere else. So I'm not necessarily saying that this is gonna spell disaster for Alexander Usyk, but I do think it's worrisome. And if I'm Dubois, I'm smiling a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, bet, because this is just gonna change up. You know, when you're accustomed to a pattern and you're accustomed to something going a certain way, then that is gonna be a disruption. It's gonna be a distraction. It's gonna be something that is different, you know, and that different may not always be good, especially when you're accustomed for certain things to transpire a certain way, especially if it's been going on like that for 12 years. And naturally, and not coincidentally, in my opinion, you know, it's actually funny that Gervonta Tank Davis struggled with Lamont Roach. Now, does that mean that Lamont, I don't want to take away any credit for Lamont Roach. Does that mean that if Coach Calvin Ford was there, Lamont Roach wouldn't have done as well? No, it's inconclusive, right? Lamont Roach, if Coach Calvin was there, Lamont Roach could have knocked out Gervonta Tank Davis. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that I don't think it's a coincidence that Tank arguably looked one of his, put on one of his worst performances as far as how he looked, you know, in a while. And then we coincidentally didn't have Coach Calvin Ford in his corner. And that's no knock on Barry Hunter. That's not the point I'm making. The point that I'm making is that, you know, it was just different. You see what I'm saying? It's something that you're not used to. Even just hearing the same voice in your corner, that's going to throw you off because you're accustomed to things going a certain way. So with Alexander Usyk losing his promoter, you know, and it's not as big of a deal as a trainer, but it might throw him off. And hey, man, like I said, I think that Dubois' chances of winning went up, but I don't think it's anything significant. But we'll see. And don't be surprised if Usyk does not look the same. If something looks a little off, just remember Alexander Krassyuk. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. He said, you were convincing me until I remember DDD from the UK. Yeah, facts. Hey, facts, Oscar. Facts. Hey, Triple D for the UK, man. You know the UK is called Usyk Kingdom, man. No longer United Kingdom. It's the Usyk Kingdom. So, but I'm serious though. I'm serious, but I'm not serious. He said, is DDD from the UK? If the answer is yes, we have nothing to worry about. UK means Usyk Kingdom. This is more of an indication for the end of the road. That's true. I agree, but man, like I said, I was going, you know me, I flip flop. When the fight was first announced, I was going with Dubois. Then, since then, I've been going with Alexander Usyk. And but right now, once I heard that news, I'm on the fence, man. I haven't decided yet. He said Usyk knows that Dubois last time hit him with that good ish that like the most beautiful woman you've ever seen takes your breath away. Facts. He took his breath away. Shout out to Tate. What's good, man? So yeah, I think that I'm not saying that it's something to worry about, but it's something to consider. I don't think it's something to overlook, man. I think that this is because look, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this. And it could be them trying to make a distraction too, but I will say this. If it's not that big of a deal, Oscar, why would they come out with it now? He said Triple D about to head the revolution against King. Talk to him, Kendrick. You see what I'm saying? If it's, let's say that it's not that big of a deal and it's just an amicable splitting and they don't even really care about it, why come out with it? Why wouldn't you come out with it after the fight? Oh yeah, by the way, you know, we're not together anymore. As far as we're not working together anymore. Pause. Yeah, we're not together anymore. It's crazy.
No, did he?
Yeah, we're gonna pause that. But yeah, we're not working together anymore. You see what I'm saying? Why not wait till after the fight? Why announce that now? Because I think he wants to let it be known that, you know, I'm assuming now. I'm gonna tell you this is me speculating. He wants to get it over with and let people know that we're no longer working together. That is done. Like, you know what I'm saying? They might be, out of respect for their friendship and their relationship, they're probably not going to get messy, you know, but he's like, oh yeah, no, we're done, man. You know, there's no coming back from that, from whatever happened. And some people, you know, you could even speculate that maybe Alexander Usyk was advised by Krassyuk not to take this fight because maybe Usyk hasn't been focused. Maybe, you know, let's talk about Freddie. Remember Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao when they split? Why did Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach split? Now, like I said, once again, this is different because it's a trainer and a fighter, which is more significant than a promoter and a fighter. But why did Pacquiao and Freddie Roach stop fighting? I mean, stop working together. They stopped because Freddie Roach didn't want Pacquiao to fight anymore. Because he said, oh no, you're not locked in, you're not focused enough, plus you're getting older, and I'm worried about your well-being. And Manny Pacquiao's like, nah, man, I'm good. And then he went on a losing streak. Started getting smacked up by everybody. From Jeff Horn to Tim Bradley. Hey, man, he started getting clapped by everybody, man. To Ampo, you know what I'm saying? The exhibition. Now, I know that's not really the timeline, but you get what I'm saying. He started getting smacked by everybody. So I'm not saying that this is true. This would be speculative. I don't know this. I'm just speculating. What if something happened to where Krassyuk didn't want Usyk to take the fight because Usyk is not focused? Usyk's not locked in. Usyk is not in the shape that he's typically in when he has a big fight. I'm speculating. I don't know. But like I said, if it was nothing, it wouldn't have came out right now. You know what I'm saying? They would have waited till after the fight and be like, oh yeah, by the way, you know, I'm no longer working with my promoter, Krassyuk, who I've been working for 12 years. So like, once again, like I said, it's just a promoter, you know, it's not a trainer, but still it is something that would have the chemistry off to what it normally is. So it's something that's abnormal, and if it's just something to focus, it's just something to keep in mind. I'm not saying that it's gonna change the tide of the fight. I'm not saying it's gonna make Dubois beat Usyk or Usyk beat Dubois. I'm just saying there's something to take note of, because remember people were telling me that, oh, it doesn't matter with Gervonta Davis not being with Coach Calvin, and look what happened. I'm not saying that that's why Tank struggled, but it definitely did not help. And remember the same thing with Costa Tszyu and Tim Tszyu. Remember when Tim Tszyu was about to fight Bakram? I don't think that Tim Tszyu would have beat Bakram at all, because you don't get whooped like that if you would have beat him. But remember what I said. I said, man, everybody's talking about, oh, it's so nice. Kumbaya, it's such a beautiful family moment. Costa Tszyu, it's his first time being in his son's camp. And I said, bro, this is not good. I don't think it's good. And that's not because I'm gangbanging against family reunions, but it's because when you mess up the natural flow of things or something that you're accustomed to, it's gonna be something that you have to adapt to. It's gonna be a change. You know what I'm saying? You had Tim Tszyu over there with his brother Nikita Tszyu and his father Costa Tszyu in Orlando. They over there going to theme parks and sightseeing, and you got Bakram over here locked in. I remember there was an interview with Tim Tszyu, and Tim Tszyu was talking trash about Bakram. He said, yeah, I just saw Bakram. I saw Bakram getting some runs in. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling with my family, and I'm like, oh, okay, bet he must not be on weight. That's what he said. He said, oh, he's still trying to prepare. He said, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna whoop him. Go look it up. You can see it. He said, yeah, I just figured that he's not on weight. You know, he's still trying to train and get it in. No, Bakram's still trying to let you know that he's gonna run through you. Just like you saw him running, he about to run right through you, and that's exactly what he did. While you over there trying to reminisce and gosh dang reminisce and get some memories in and cherish the moments with your family like you're on a vacation. Bakram was getting it in, and that's exactly what he did. He got in your, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we gonna pause that. He got right in your cheeks.
No, did he?
Pause. All in your cheeks for 3 quick rounds. So I'm just saying that things are different, man. He said he's pumping in an excuse to why Triple D gonna separate him from his consciousness. I don't know. I'm just saying, man. I don't know, man. I don't think it's a good thing. Hell, he never even really gave proper fight energy at any of his pressers. Yeah, it was outside the ring that had him tell his kids to not even consider the sport and pulled his family out of poverty. Yeah, true. You talk about Tank, right? Yeah. He said, to me, it's more to keep people from jumping onto the ring and challenging him again. I don't know about that. Maybe. I don't know about that, Oscar. I don't know. Like I said, I think it was a fallout. I don't think that you, like I said, it could be that he doesn't want to split the checks anymore because he's coming at the end of his career. He doesn't need a promoter, maybe. But I don't think that just happens, man. Like, or maybe Krassyuk was robbing Usyk. Maybe he was taking more money, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe he's been accused of taking more money. Like I said, either way, it's a distraction. So even if it's a good distraction, let's say that he had a baby, that's a beautiful blessing, but it's still a distraction from the main goal. Anything that takes you away from the goal, whether it's good or bad, takes you away from the goal, and it makes you a little bit less focused. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying it's a distraction. I don't think it's anything that was good to cause them to split. So, you know what I'm saying? So maybe though. Tufo said it could have been Alexandra, Alexander and 5. We'll see, man. We'll see, bro. We'll see. Yeah, maybe. I just thought that was very interesting, man. He said the body shot landed on Usyk. Dubois already got a taste of all of it. Yeah. Dubois already got a taste off of it. Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, we'll see, bro. We'll see. Usyk had 5 minutes to recover from, but he had 5 minutes. I'm telling you. The fight in Poland was had rain on the canvas. Propaganda of his fighters. Ukraine president hyping up the fight for the big screen. Maybe. I don't know, man. Usyk trust gonna be under his, gonna be right below his nipples. I'm telling you, all in his chest with it. I disagree. It wasn't until they scrapped the KO away they mentally checked out and packed it in. Yeah, Triple D, right? Yeah, I agree with Daniel Dubois. Now that's a problem too, though. Don't get me wrong. The fact that he couldn't mentally overcome the fact that it wasn't a knockdown, I think that's a problem as well. It shows that he's I don't want to say mentally weak, but he's not as strong as you would like him to be. So that's a problem. But I do think, I agree with Thomas. I'm not giving him an excuse, but I'm saying I do think that had something to do with it. It's like, okay, bet he just mentally checked out, and that's bad, because if you can mentally check out in a moment like that and you can't gather yourself and regroup and be Usyk, then I think that's not a good thing. That, to me, it shows that Usyk is more mentally tough. But at the same time, you never know what'll make you check out the ring, you know, I mean, out the fight, you know. And if an instance like that doesn't happen, there's no telling what Dubois would have did. So I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it. So I don't know, man. But I'm not taking anything away from Usyk's victory over Dubois. You know, it is what it is. It was at the discretion of the ref, and the ref decided that it was a low blow. You get over it, you know. And so Usyk won that as fair as possible, you know, given the circumstances. But the fact of the matter still remains to me that Usyk is going through a change in the camp, and that's all I'm saying. And I don't think a change in the camp is ever a good thing when it's during the preparation of a fight, and that fight is less than a month out. That's just my personal opinion. That's just my personal opinion on that. Oscar says Mr. Frank is going to have Joseph Parker at every presser and in the ring after a great Usyk beats Triple D. Well, I mean, Joseph Parker is supposed to be fighting, which I don't understand this. Excuse me. Joseph Parker is supposed to be fighting Derek Chisora for a trilogy, which I think is a dumbish, like, why? I don't know, bro. I'm so sick of these unnecessary trilogies. But anyway, Derek Chisora is supposed to be fighting Joseph Parker for a trilogy, and if that fight falls through, then they're talking about yeah, of course Joseph Parker wants ideally to get Usyk, you know, but I don't see the problem with that. I don't think that'll stop you from, I don't think that'll cause you to fire your promoter. Like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with that, you know. That's good speculating. It could be that he doesn't want to cut the check anymore. I mean, shoot, yeah. I mean, you're with Turkey, you don't want to split the check anymore. Let me get all my money. But I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it was a fallout between the 2 men. And yeah. I just don't think that's good. That doesn't mean that Usyk's gonna lose because of it, but I don't think it's a good thing. And I don't think it's anything to just overlook either. If Chisora knocks him out, I'm gonna dial it, bro. If Chisora knocks out Joseph Parker, bro, I don't want to hear nothing else. I got Joseph Parker whooping Chisora. But then once again, though, if Joseph Parker fights Chisora, I mean, what are we talking about? People get mad at me because they say, oh, I'm extra critical of Joseph Parker. No, I'm not, bro. Let's look at his fights. If he fights Derek Chisora, Joseph Parker fight would be Derek Chisora, who is what? How old is Derek Chisora? I think Derek Chisora is 42.
Damn. I'm sorry.
Which is not old in life, but as a top athlete, that's old. I mean, even Diana Taurasi, she hung him up. You know what I'm saying? She's 42. She just retired. So Derek Chisora is 42, right? 13 losses. That's who Joseph Parker's trying to fight. His fight before that was Martin Bakole on 2 days' notice. That's who he fought. Then his fight before that was who? Zhale Zhang, who was 42 years old as well.
Damn. I'm sorry.
And he barely won. He got dropped twice. And then before that was a washed-up Deontay Wilder. So am I making this up that Joseph Parker's resume has been looking shaky? Or am I telling the truth? I'm just curious. Because when I said the same thing about AJ, I said, oh, Daniel Dubois is going to win because, yeah, AJ and what's the name? Ben Davison have been on a good run. But his last opponents have been looking less than impressive. They're looking very shaky, right? AJ fought Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, Francis Ngannou, and Otto Wallin. And people were acting like he was on some type of impressive streak. And then when he finally fought somebody that was a capable, formidable opponent, he got put on his behind. Face down, booty up. Out there looking like a $2 stripper. You talking about, you know, come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, people say I was tripping when I picked Dubois over AJ. Because AJ was also an impressive streak. Yeah, but he fought Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, Otto Wallin, and Francis Ngannou. Which one of those guys should it be AJ? So same thing right now. It's Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker is fighting Derek Chisora, Zhale Zhang, Deontay Wilder, and Martin Bakole on 2 days' notice. An out-of-shape Martin Bakole. A Bakole who wasn't even on the same, forget a country, he wasn't even in the same continent as his trainer, Billy Nelson. Billy Nelson was in Scotland. Martin Bakole was in the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, formerly known as the country of Zaire. That's where he was. They weren't even together. And according to Billy Nelson, his trainer, the last time Martin Bakole threw a punch or had a punch thrown at him was in August, before the Joseph Parker fight. You know what August was? Oh, August was the time when he fought Jared Big Baby Anderson. So the last time he threw a punch or got a punch thrown at him was the last time he was in a fight against Jared Big Baby Anderson. So he wasn't even training. And that's the credit we're giving Joseph Parker. People get mad at me like I'm hating on Joseph Parker. No, I'm just telling the truth. If the facts are hating, then it is what it is. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at his matchmaking. Robert was a zombie essentially. Wilder already killed him. Come on now, talk to him, Kendrick. We got to add the fact that he was for the fight Triple D. Doc, am I tripping, or was that Beterbiev that hit Usyk with a body shot in the Olympics? I don't remember that fight, though. I know they fought a couple times. God, they fought 3 times, right? Was it Beterbiev that hit him with a body shot in the Olympics? I think so. And then, but he won, right? Because Usyk, I remember Usyk, was that the Olympics? I have to go back and look again. Because I remember Usyk beat him in the Olympics, but was it? I don't remember, Tay. Because I remember Usyk, was that the Olympics, though, when they fought? I don't remember if it was the Olympics or not. I know Beterbiev got knocked out by Usyk in some tournament, but I don't remember if it was the Olympics or not. That's a good question. I feel like it wasn't the Olympics, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look it up. Let me know, Tay. Yeah, look it up and let me know, because I would have to look it up. I remember them fighting. I remember Beterbiev getting some. I just don't. Yeah, I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. I don't remember if it was the Olympics, bro. It was definitely amateurs, but I don't remember if it was the Olympics. I don't think it was the Olympics. Excuse me. But I definitely could be wrong. I'm looking it up now. Yeah, you're right. It was the 2012 Olympics. Yep, the quarterfinals of the 2012 Olympics. You're right. No, you're not tripping. See, I was thinking about the 2011 ABA World Championship Finals, quarterfinals, where Usyk beat him. Yeah, it was the Olympics. Yep. So, yeah, man. I mean, Usyk has been pretty susceptible to body shots, but like I said, Dubois got to win though, man. Dubois has to win, and I definitely think you. Like I said, man, it's Usyk, right? Usyk. The only way you don't favor Usyk and Inoue and Terrence Bud Crawford, you know, with them being undefeated and two-time undisputed in 2 different weight classes, is if they're fighting somebody outside of their weight division. And of course, Usyk's at heavyweight, so he can't fight anybody outside of his weight division. Or you're fighting somebody that's exceptional. Is Dubois exceptional? I don't know. You know, I like Dubois, but I don't know if it'll be Usyk. So I think Usyk should be the favorite. However, like I said, with turmoil in the camp, whether it's big or small, I think it's just something different. Is that going to be enough to favor Dubois? It's up to you. But I do think it's something worth noting. But yeah, but yeah, man, I'm about to go ahead and call it, man. I appreciate y'all rocking as always. Don't forget to smack that like button. He said, "Seen Usyk has issues with Chisora too. Styles make fights." Yeah, he did have issues with Chisora, but Usyk has been, I don't know, man. It's hard to bet against Usyk, man. It's hard to bet against Usyk, man. It's very hard, man. But yeah, man, I'm about to go ahead and call it, man. Appreciate y'all rocking. We had a little shorter show today, man. I got some things I got to take care of. But yeah, I appreciate y'all rocking as always. Don't forget to smack that like button. And check out my guy D1 as well, man. That's my guy right there, man. Y'all check him out. And also, too, check out the late videos we dropped, bro. Check out the last video. Shout out to my guy, Claude. He said, "Can't call it. I just got here." Hey, man, you late, bro. You're late, bro. I can't help you, bro. I can't help that. I can't help that. But yeah, I think Usyk is in jeopardy of running some stuff with Tank. You know, like similar stuff as Tank, man. Tank just had a change in his camp, and he coincidentally, not so coincidentally, messed up the natural flow, man. So it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Oh, Conor Benn. Yeah, shout out to Oscar. I forgot about Conor Benn. You're right. You're right. I forgot to say that. Yeah. No, we're not going. I got one more topic. I forgot about Conor Benn. Shout out to my guy Oscar. Yeah, Conor Benn, man. Go check out the last video I dropped. You know, I'm not gonna stay too long on this topic, but Conor Benn, bro. Conor Benn just came out with a tweet, and I want to show y'all. I could tell y'all better. I could show y'all. I mean, I could show y'all better. I could tell y'all. Conor Benn has come out with a tweet, right? And I thought this was very interesting. Very, very interesting. Conor Benn has said this. It's so wild, bro. He said, Conor Benn has said, "I want that WBC boxing world title." He said, "I want that WBC boxing world title," right? And if you've been around this channel, shout out to the Boxer Talk family loyalists, you know what I'm saying, the true ones, y'all know what it is. I said this last year, chat. I said that Conor Benn wants no part of Gervonta Davis, and they're stablemates, right? And Eddie Hearn has no intention of having Conor Benn fight Gervonta Davis at 147. That's an easy fight to facilitate. They're both on Matchroom, right? And that's why he's pressing for Gervonta Davis to go to 154 so much, because he wants to open up the way, and open the path for Conor Benn at 147. And I even said that, man, he's only fighting Chris Eubank because there's nobody else at 147 for him to fight. You got to understand. He wanted Mario Barrios, Conor Benn. Then he even had a fight with Pacquiao planned. But Pacquiao didn't fight him, and then he turned around and stole his Mario Barrios opportunity. So then what was his other option? To fight Gervonta Davis? He's not going to do that because he could fight Chris Eubank, who's a domestic, who that fight between Benn and Eubank, because of their family name and their fathers, you know, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr., because of their history, that fight is a huge fight domestically in the UK. And then if he loses to Chris Eubank Jr., which he did, he could always say, "Hey, man, you know, I was so small. I have an excuse, right? I have a built-in excuse to lose to Chris Eubank because I'm the smaller guy." If you fight Gervonta Davis, there's no excuse. It's just that you weren't the better guy because y'all the same size. So I think that this was definitely premeditated. And not even a week later, not even 7 days after Gervonta Davis officially announced his move to 154 and vacated his WBA belt and IBF belt and Ring Magazine belt at 147, Conor Benn comes out and says he wants the WBC belt. You want the WBC belt? Then you're like, hold on, wait. He's ranked at 154. Yeah, but he's ranked for the IBF at 154. He's ranked by the WBC at 147. And that's the highest ranking that he has. He's ranked number 3. Now the guys in front of him, you'd be like, okay, bet, but he has somebody in front of him. Devin Haney's ranked number 1. Devin Haney has no major backing. Devin Haney's he's a star, but he has no major backing. So it's easy for him to get leapfrogged. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney. So number 1 is Devin. I currently have no major backing because I'm independent, Haney. And then number 2 is Suleiman. I don't know him, Sissoko. Because if you ask anybody who Suleiman Sissoko is, they're going to respond exactly like this.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that? No damn well who I am. Who the fuck is that?
So my point in saying all this is that the number 1 guy and the number 2 guy, the 2 guys that are ahead of Conor Benn, is perfectly feasible for him to leapfrog them, especially when you have a major backing of Eddie Hearn. So don't be surprised if Conor Benn gets the winner of Pacquiao and Barrios for the WBC belt that he's suddenly that he's suddenly pursuing. He's suddenly in hot pursuit of the WBC belt, coincidentally after Jon Butzinis announces his departure to 154. So I just think it's just corny, man. I called this a year ago, you know what I'm saying, and it's just coming to fruition now. And you know, Conor Benn, the egg sniffer, the egg whisperer, I just think that's trash. And the fact that he couldn't even wait a week lets me know that.
Nigga, you's a bitch.
So I just think it's crazy. He said, but how people assure me PBC is the only one that operates that way. Exactly, Oscar. Exactly. So I just think that we just saw in real time that Conor Benn not only ducked Jon Butzinis, he ducked him for about a year. How you duck somebody for over a year, bro? I'm talking about the man ducked him for about a year and a half, bro. And if you don't believe me, and if you need further proof as to how I'm saying that he ducked the Jon Butzinis, let's look at Conor Benn's fights. Conor Benn's fight was with Chris Eubank at 160, right? Chris Eubank Jr. Then his fight before that was 150, the catchweight against Peter Dobson. His fight before that was 153 against Rodolfo Orozco. So his last fight at 147 was 4 fights ago against Chris Van Heerden back in 2022. So why in 2025 you're talking about going back to 147? It's because Jon Butzinis isn't there. It's like on Friday, you know, when he say, yeah, when Debo come around, I be quiet, but when he leave, I be talking again. that's Conor Benn, bro. You know what I'm saying? When Jon Ennis was there, he was quiet. When he leave, he was talking again. That joke weak, man. That joke is weak, man. Shout out to my guy Clone, man. Shout out to my guy Clone dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter.
These biscuits.
Shout out to my guy Clone, man, turning me up in the Cash App like always, man. My brother, man. I appreciate you, bro. He said, you running like they say Haney and Shakur do. Hey, I'm running. I'm running. Yes, sir. I'm up out of here, bro. You know, I'm talking about. Shout out to my guy Clone, man. Hopefully you're doing good, bro. I appreciate you dropping that graffiti on the chat walls, man. Always showing love, man. Shout out to my guy Clone, man. One of the biggest supporters, man. Shout out to y'all, man. He said, but how people assure me. Yeah, exactly, Oscar. He said, anyway, we know about ducking for you. Come on now. He ducked MJ Medallia for about a year and a half as well. You know what I'm saying? WBA allowed it. Shout out to my guy Clone. He said, dang, Pro Boxer said DPT running like Conor Benn and Cinnamon duck sauce Alvarez. That's crazy, bro. Hey, don't do my boy Cinnamon like that. My boy Cinnamon don't duck nobody. Shout out to my guy Cinnamon, man. My boy hating on my boy Cinnamon, man. My guy said, shout out to Clone dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Big biscuits in the hood, man. Shout out to my guy Clone, man. I appreciate that, bro. Speaking of Pro Box, though, you see Jaime Munguia. You see what's the dude's name? Paulie Malignaggi going to bare knuckle boxing. I don't think it's BKFC, but it's bare knuckle boxing, right? BKB, bare knuckle boxing, not BKFC. But speaking of that, man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not really a big Paulie Malignaggi fan since he stopped fighting. Like, his commentary is ass to me. But I will say this, man, I gotta respect him for fighting, man. You know, he's going back to boxing, and you gotta salute it, man. Gotta definitely salute it, and I'll be rooting for him for sure. In that bare knuckle boxing, and also too, man, I saw in the bare knuckle, I believe this is BKFC now, bare knuckle fighting championship, Andrei Arlovski made his debut and he whooped some dude named nicknamed Cuddly Bear. Of course you gonna whoop a dude named Cuddly Bear. What are we talking about? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? His name not Ferocious Bear, Polar Bear, Grizzly Bear, Rabies Bear. You know what I'm saying? Something a little bit more intimidating than Cuddly Bear. It's all you will get you from a Builder Bear, bro. You know what I'm talking about? What you, Paddington Bear? What we doing? But anyway, yeah, man, shout out to them though. But yeah, he said, "Who's side piece Paulie?" Yeah, side piece Paulie. Yeah, side piece Paulie was supposed to be going to bare knuckle boxing. I think next month, if I'm not mistaken. I think his fight is next month or something like that. I know it's close. Let me look it up. Let me look it up real quick. I think so. I'm about to look it up right now. I think he has a fight coming up. Because he has, I think he said he has like a 4-fight deal or something like that. Let me see. Maybe it's not next month. Oh, I thought it was next month. Maybe it's not next month. I don't know. He says the latest retired fighter. It said Paulie Malignaggi is returning to action. I'm trying to see. So yeah, so I was right. It's BKB, bare knuckle boxing. It doesn't say a date. Maybe I heard it. Maybe I heard it on an interview or something. I could have sworn he said like next month or something like that. And I could be wrong. It might not be next month. But I could have sworn he said next month. It's a 3-fight deal. Okay, 3-fight deal. Yep. Shout out to him. September. It's September. Not next month. It's September. September 6th in Bristol, England. I know I wasn't tripping, but it's not next month. It's September 6th. Yeah, it's a 3-fight deal. Yep. So shout out to him, man. He said, "Yo, what if we get AB and Paulie rematch?" I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'd watch it. I'd watch AB and Paulie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I might have Paulie, bro. I might have Paulie, bro. I might got Paulie in the rematch, man. That's crazy, bro. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all rocking. Don't forget to smack that like button. But most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing, man. I appreciate y'all rocking as always, man. Shout out to D1 for hitting the Cash App. Shout out to Clone for dropping the graffiti on the chat walls with the $5. Shout out to Clone for another $5. And shout out to Garden Snake Mentality for the $2, man. Appreciate y'all rocking as always. I'll be back on for the late show at 7 p.m. If not, I'll be back on. I might do a stream at the park. You know what I'm saying? Got to get that workout in. But also too, shout out to Oklahoma City Thunder, man. I will say this though too, man. Tyrese Halliburton, I kind of felt bad for. I was not rooting for the Pacers. I really didn't really care who won. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really care who won. But you know I like boxing. I root for OKC more because you know I was born in Seattle, and you know Seattle Supersonics. They essentially became Oklahoma City Thunder when they transferred over there. So they made that transition to Oklahoma. So I always liked OKC. So I was rooting for them. But I didn't like to see Tyrese Halliburton get hurt, man. I like I said, I'm the type of person that I like highest competition at the highest level. You know, I don't like to see when people win. Even if I like them, if I'm rooting for you, I don't want you to win because it gets easier for you or it's in your favor, it's handicapped. So I would have loved to see Tyrese Halliburton fight. Be able to play the entirety of that game, but at the same time too, that's how sports goes. You know, it's part of life too. You know, sometimes you get injured, or you get sick at the worst times. You know what I'm saying? When you have a big meeting or you have a big presentation, you just got to fight through it if you can. If not, then you got to just reschedule or whatever. You got to come back and revisit it. So got to bounce back for next year. So I felt bad for him, but I don't want to take away anything from OKC. They did their thing, but I did feel bad. I wish Tyrese Halliburton could have played, man. But it just sucked to see him when he was just, He's like, no. He already knew what time it was, man. I felt bad for him. But shout out to them, man. I appreciate y'all rocking as always. Shout out to SGA. He's the first person in some years, you know what I'm saying, to get the finals MVP, the league MVP, the Western Conference MVP, and all this other good stuff with bonbons, and win a championship all in the same year. So shout out to SGA, man. It's a star right there, bro. It's a big star. But yeah, I appreciate y'all rocking as always. Don't forget to smack that like button. But most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.